Okay, so this is basically the same swing. This is just the practice movement of your golf swing. This is the actual swing itself. So we're looking at obviously the movement you're making. Top of the backswing now, you're in a really good position, obviously. As you're coming down, lead tip, you can sort of see the logo on your joggers there, leading towards that left foot, arms coming down, keeping the angle. As you come into the golf ball here, now the lead leg now has moved over to kind of that line, and from there now that lower half is going to sort of rotate around as you extend up to the golf ball. So as you bring the arms back down into impact, as you bring the arms back into impact there now, just into about here, you can see there now, so your left shoulder now nicely sort of extending up. Everything now is definitely left-sided, and there's a good impact position that we're trying to sort of replicate. Now when it comes to it in the golf ball, again, same good setup, same good backswing, top of the backswing there, great. I mean, real good hip turn there, nice shoulder turn, top of the backswing, club square, shoulders are behind the ball, lovely. As you start coming back down, you can see that lead hip now move into that left side as the arms kind of form, maintain your angle. You can see as you come through here now in terms of impact, it's not a bad impact city, but look at the shoulder now, that left shoulder's a little bit low as you come through, hasn't quite cleared up as much, okay? So if you were to do this as you did, okay, when the lead shoulder's clearing a bit more, as you come through, you could see from there now your arms better maintain a little bit more extension. They're certainly wide as you come to the golf ball here now. Then your shoulder kind of pops up a little bit later. I mean, we're talking like hundredths of a second later, okay? It's not a massive thing to worry about, okay? But your arms there have got a lot more width than in the past. I mean, we've had sort of images here where your hands are kind of back here somewhere, almost into your torso there, just kind of like flicking it, and because your right side just hanging back, hasn't turned through. Lower half rotating nicely. You can see your knees coming through there, a much more wider post swing. Yeah, maybe a little bit more head down than we want, but I wouldn't say just try and stop that. That's something you kind of almost do instinctively. I think in time when that left shoulder starts lifting a little bit more, you'll start twisting and turning just a little bit more. But again, don't do too much too soon, because if you start trying to go, you'll just end up being all over the place. So yeah, a lot of good in those movements there. The distance and the gap, and we said there, I mean, your wedge was pitching at 125, your 8-iron was pitching at 150, your 6 was pitching at 170, your 4 was getting to the 190 on good strikes, and your 3 was like 215, 220, and your drive was 235, 240. So there's a nice sort of 10, 12, 15-ish gap between your clubs there. Yeah. Giving you the distance you want. And that's why I said that as long as you know how far the ball's going to go, and your dispersion with up to 6-iron was good, 4-iron, yeah, okay, it's a harder club to use, but you were still striking it probably 6 out of 10 were good, I think, to be fair, which is a good sign. It means your movement's a lot better. But working on this sort of transition, as you can see you're doing here now, just getting the sensation of that impact working down here, coming in there. The lead hip works better. The left hip moves to target this way, and then rotates. This one can kind of come round, this then comes round, it gives you that width post impact. If this side of your body here hangs back because this left hip's kind of going up and extending back, your arms have got nowhere to go. Or the other one, I think you mentioned, I think on the course last time in the past, when you look at your swing down the line, you see if you look at if your spine angle's kind of here at setup, and there's just sort of my stick man there, you see your swing when you swing through, your spine sort of goes up this way, doesn't sort of stay back. If you try to sort of sink back on your heels, now your lower half can't move, and again you'll get that same kind of like tucked up sensation, resulting in they're generally your fat shots, okay, because you just sunk into the ball and you hit it a bit heavy. Okay, I'll say it again, and I'll probably still say it again and again and again, be careful not to, when you hit a slightly chunky one or a blocky one or a pulley one, I mean, to try and adapt or change the next shot. You're swinging it 7 times out of 10 really good with the dispersion with the 8-iron there. I think it was, one was 16 yards left, one was 22 left. That's a bit of an outlier maybe, but 16 yards left, bunker, 22, depends on the green some. The other 8 were within 10 and less, a couple within like 3 or 4 yards. So 8 out of 10 you're hitting the green there very nicely. One bad shot every now and then, okay, that's where your handicap's going to be where it's at, not scratch or +1 yet maybe. All right. But yeah, certainly swinging it very, very good. I mean, for me, I know when you're swinging it good because your 3 when your 4-iron's good. That's always a good test. If you can swing and strike them good and it drive off a low tee peg, that's when you're good enough to play an 8 or a wedge with your eyes shut, swinging it terribly. But when the club gets longer, that will really showcase whether or not your lower half is working this way and then clearing, or whether it's doing that or that. Okay, mate? Good stuff.